Greetings, programs. It is I, the OGGM. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's the 10th day of November, 2022. It's about 64, 65 degrees and sunny here at Site B. If you ever want to know why I start every broadcast like that, help me hit 900 subs and I'll tell you during my AMA. So apparently 6 hours ago, Christopher Perkins of Wizards of the Coast posted this little blog industry hidden in the D&D Beyond staff, and I was perusing to see if the new rules for the next level of the 1E, 1 D&D nonsense was up yet, and I found this, and oh boy, Christopher Perkins. Notice he refers to himself as Christopher Perkins now, not Chris Perkins, which he's referred to himself. But then, I'm still acting under the assumption that this isn't the same one. It's a clone. He has decided to post a blog about the inclusion processes of Wizards of the Coast and the problematic content of the past, what happened with Spelljammer, and how they're going forward, because apparently Spelljammer was harmful and hurtful to fans. So now Wizards of the Coast has a brand new process of how they're going to address the harmful and hurtful fans, how they're going to correct it, how they're going to identify what happened, and how they're going to do better in the future. So if you're wondering what they're referred to, what is the latest round of the problematic content? It was the inclusion of the Hodozi in Spelljammer first printing. Now, in the lore for the Spelljammer first printing, it was suggested that the Hodozi had been genetically modified by a wizard and had been used as troops in fighting. That he'd found this race of semi-intelligent monkey-like people. For some reason, he's like, hey, monkeys, perfect soldiers. So he experimented on them, he modified them, and then he sent them off to fight in wars, and then he sort of forgot about them and died, and they went off and they bred and they became spacefaring space monkey pirates. Perfectly Saturday morning cartoon. And apparently some people were offended by the idea that space monkeys had been experimented on and used against their will as soldiers. And they somehow tied this in with slavery. And I guess all the genetic experiments that were conducted on monkeys. So somehow this became that monkeys were evil, space monkeys were evil, aliens were evil, space is evil, and Spelljammer is evil. And this caused the usual round of oh, how dare you, Wizards of the Coast. No matter what you give us, it's just not enough. So they changed it. Unfortunately, Spelljammer was already on the market. So they had to scrabble out there to try and nip the problematic Spelljammer issues in the bud, delay printings of the special edition ones, delay the Beatles and Grimm super special one, and they reprint a brand new Spelljammer that didn't include the harmful and problematic content. I guess they have completely changed or just removed the Hodozi completely. And so, yeah, now before this announcement was made, Spelljammer was not selling, and the reviews were generally negative before one voice went, oh, I'm problematic. And the rest of the voices said, I need attention, so I'll focus on that. And then the other voices went, they're getting attention, so I need to focus on them getting attention, so I get attention. And then the other voices went, well, what you're arguing about is wrong, so we're going to pay attention to it by arguing the opposite. And Wizards of the Coast went, yes, thank you, more money, yes, free press, thank you, yes, oh my God, problematic content, will fix it. Now, did they make available free copies of the new Spelljammer when people said, oh, I have the problematic Spelljammer? No, they didn't. You had to go and buy a brand new one. I mean, it's not like this has ever happened before, DND Beyond. It's not like a gaming company has accidentally released accidental content and then said, oh, no, we have to fix it, D&D 3.5. And it's not like it's the first time the game company said, oh, well, we made a brand new content, but we're going to charge you for D&D 3.5, D&D 4, D&D 5. So, yeah. Apparently, this is still going around as of 6 hours ago. I don't know why this is still a thing. Maybe it's because of the whole Asia thing is a thing again, or you're playing D&D wrong thing is again. So Christopher Perkins in his infinite wisdom has posted this, and we're going to take a look at it. Is that enough of a read up? Okay, harmful content. If we discover that something we created is harmful or hurtful to fans, we correct it. Then we identify how it happened and how to do better in the future. Let us not forget that Wizards of the Coast employs sensitivity consultants and has for all their projects since Tasha. Now, your average sensitivity consultant makes 200 to 300 grand per project. Oh, no, I think it's 20 to 30 grand. Actually, not 200 to 300. 20 to 30 grand. So you've already set aside 20 to 30 grand to pay somebody whose job was to go, hey, and apparently they missed it. The first printing of Spelljammer Adventures in Space included 2 pieces of contents that fans correctly flagged as offensive. The first is an illustration of a Hodozi bard that resembles offensive minstrelly materials and other racist depictions of black people. Actually, no, it was the depiction of how bards were depicted in ancient biblical text. The second is a paragraph about Hodozis that reinforces harmful real-world stereotypes. What? Harmful real-world stereotypes? Because, monkeys are, well, actually, if you ask any primatologist, monkeys are evil, apes aren't. But yeah, super soldier monkeys from outer space do not exist, nor do super soldier programs. Have we experimented on monkeys in the past? Yes, that probably should have been the thing people were upset about. Oh, you're pointing out the fact that the history of chemicals and drugs is based upon experimenting on monkeys. That's bad. But no, it's monkeys are racist. Future reprints will omit both the illustration and the offensive text, neither of which will be reviewed by cultural experts. So now they're admitting that even though they paid somebody 20 grand to go through the Spelljammer, for some reason, that one missed the one. I guess Professor Blue Hair Woke SJW trans whatever wasn't available that day. So they're like, well, you know what? We're probably just going to print it. I mean, they checked everything else and it was fine. This one's got to be fine, right? In the weeks since the flag, the offensive content, Spelljammer, we in the studios have been building and testing a new inclusion review process. Inclusion reviews ensures our game are inclusive and welcoming to all players. Meanwhile, we continue to treat anybody who doesn't think the way we do as shit. Previously, inclusions review were done at the discretion of the product league, who identified which pieces of products needed to be outside inclusion review. The studio's new process mandates every word, illustration, and map must be reviewed by multiple outside cultural consultants prior to publications. Multiple. Now, mind you, that when they first introduced the idea of cultural sensitivity consultants, they said every product would be reviewed. Then there was that whole thing about, we forgot to mention the name of the cultural consultant in the product. But yeah, every product will be reviewed. Except now they're saying, remember when we said every product was going to be reviewed by a cultural consultant? We lied. Only some of them have been reviewed. I mean, I know we paid Professor Blue-Haired Trans Manic Pixie Girl 20 grand to review this, but not on that day. So instead, we're going to get a whole bunch of these idiots, most of whom who have never played the game, to go through this and find anything that can possibly be offensive to anybody on the planet and then remove it. Which means when our next product comes out, you're going to be paying $75 to $100 for a book filled with blank pages. When the D&D team is racially, ethnically, gender, or cognitively diverse, we don't want our marginalized employees to be burdened with the task of reviewing content for cultural competency. That's why we leverage the expertise of outside cultural consultants. There's no such thing. I have a degree in anthropology. I can tell you there is no such thing as a cultural consultant. But Wizards of the Coast, if you want to pay me 20 grand to consult on your product, I assure you I will do the exact same job better than Manic Pixie Dream Girl with the blue hair. Okay? Oh, I'm getting posts from Cal. Unfortunately, when I'm reading this, I can't see what you guys post because I don't speak Steam World. So I appreciate that you are posting these things, but I don't see them. This is the things that people are going to be viewing. Text creation phase, art creation phase, final product preview, text and art reviewed separately until the final product review phase when cultural consultants review the edited text and final art side by side. Implementation. Now let's peek at how the inclusion review process works. Consultants report. After completing the reviews, the cultural consultants submit written reports that are shared with the studio ship's leadership team. The product lead then works with the art director and the managing editor to develop a plan to address the consultant's feedback. So there is a key, I don't know if you've ever seen this. I mean, I know Tracy Ullman did it. Keenan and Kel did it. A couple other comedians have done it, where this guy is asking people to review his speech. And he's got 3 cultural consultants. One of them's a black man, one of them's a gay man, one of them's a woman. And then the first thing he says is, okay, I want to thank you all. And they all raise their hands. And it's like, okay, wait, what's wrong? And the black man goes, oh, you all, because that's how black people all talk, right? You all. And the woman goes, oh, you, as in not me, as in not the woman present, as in ignore me. And the gay guy goes, oh, you all, because that's how all gay guys talk, right? We all just go, you all. So the whole joke is no matter what he says, they find something offensive about it. And he's like, okay, look, can I just get to the speech? And when he finally goes to the speech, it's the single most offensive thing he can say. And they all agree on, oh, no, that, yeah. So, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. They're going to get these people who are cultural consultants, none of them under the age. I mean, all of them are going to be like 30 or younger. All of them are going to be out of work employees from Hot Topic. It's going to be a bunch of white people talking about the oh, black people are offended. Oh, I've got blue hair. Therefore, I'm qualified to talk about hundreds and hundreds of years of culture. Do any of you actually have a degree in cultural anthropology? No. But I read a book. And then this one's going to argue with this one. This one's going to go, well, I'm offended by that. And this one's going to go, no, I'm not offended by that, but I'm offended by this. And then basically you're just going to have the exact same thing. You're going to have 3, 4, 8, 10 people all going that I found something offensive on this piece of paper. And therefore you have to content it. And by the time we go and look at, okay, you find this offensive, you find this offensive. So we have to remove that. We have to move. Okay, well, we got to remove. Oh, you find the use of word guys offensive. That's gone. Oh, you find this artwork offensive to the indigenous people of Venezuela. That's gone. Oh, you find the inclusion of this race offensive. Okay, that's gone. Oh, you don't like the way we drew this building because it's a representation of how buildings were drawn by the Aztecs, and you're offended by that. Okay. Oh, we used a word that could be perceived as a homophobic. Well, that's gone. All right. Well, this is all we have left. We're going to print it out. We're going to call it Inclusion of the Giants. And it's going to be $100, and it's going to be this. Are you all happy? No, because you're making out of paper, and paper kills trees. Oh, you're right. We can't make it out of paper. We're going to make it digital. Is that okay? No, because not everybody has access to computers. You should give them free computers. You're right. We should. But what decides who gets the free computers and who doesn't? Why don't you guys take some of the $20,000 we gave each of you and buy some computers for the needy? What? No, I don't want to be associated with the needy. So after we go through this ridiculous process, whoever finally gets the final say will go, okay, well, I listened to everything you said, and I guess this is what we're going to print, knowing full well that within a week of it seeing print, somebody else is going to be offended by it. Reprints. The new inclusion review process applies not only to products in development, but also reprints. In other words, every reprint is an opportunity to conduct a new inclusion review of previously published content, which means the value of any Wizards of the Coast content you own as of now just went up 1,000-fold. And yes, you're going to have to rebuy it. Are you going to make free errata available for any changes to the rules? No, of course not. You have to rebuy it. What about the backwards compatible? If you're going to go back and now change things even more, does that mean one D&D will continue to remain backwards compatible? You see, Billy, one D&D was never backwards compatible. This is just a reason for us to make it even further not backwards compatible. But what about the edition wars and the people saying the edition wars are over? You see, Billy, there's no money in us ending the edition wars. We need the edition wars to continue so the idiots out there like Jeannie D and Mark Holmes and those other people can say bad things about us. And then we can secretly make money off each edition, because you have to remember Hasbro owns all of D&D. So it's not cost effective for us to end the edition wars. So you're going to go back in time and fix everything in 5e that might be in any way, shape, or form offensive. And then you're going to make the new copies available to us for free. Just like we did with D&D 3.5, Billy. Of course we're going to make the new copies free. No, we're not. We're going to charge you again double. But that's okay, because those copies you have in your pocket right now, like my Tomb of Annihilation, which I'm sure somebody's going to go, oh, the depiction of the creatures and the races in Tomb of Annihilation are racist to the people from Africa, because yes, in Africa there are actual goblins who actually behave in the way that the goblins portrayed in Tomb of Annihilations are. So yes, the depiction of the colonization and the portrayal of a fictional Africa as portrayed in Tomb of Annihilation is racist, so we have to change it, which means the brand new copy of Tomb of Annihilation will be completely different, and therefore, A, your original copy is going to be worth way more money, OGGM, and B, not backwards compatible with 1D&D. So when 1D&D comes out, we will release all new versions of that product with the all-new process in place of cultural consultants, each of these blue-haired idiots we will be paying 20 grand to. You will have to buy them all over again with the brand new 1D&D, not backwards compatible rules, but don't worry, because they've all gone through cultural consultant. You'll be paying anywhere up to $115 for physical books that look pretty much like this. But don't worry, cultural consultants, your $20,000 was not wasted, because we assure you within a week of anything we put out, someone out there will be offended by it, and then we're going to have to do this article all over again, drag out Christopher Perkins' clone, make an apology. Oh, we're sorry, you were offended. We're sorry we made money off of that product. Oh, no. I guess we have to release a new version that doesn't contain that problematic material. Of course, that's going to cost us money to make the new version. So when we send it out, we're not going to make it free. You're going to have to buy it. And if you don't buy the new version, well, you're racist. And the blue-haired cultural consultant is going to go, well, I feel I didn't get as much money as the male blue-haired cultural consultant, so I'm offended. So I'm going to make a 2-hour-long blog about how offended I am by the product that I worked on that contains absolutely no content. And I'm going to charge people super charges so that they can log on and go to my Patreon and my PayPal and my OnlyFans, and I can be a cute manic pixie dream girl with blue hair and talk to you about cultural appropriation, even though I'm a white woman, man, fish. But you're offended. And this all goes back to because apparently monkeys are evil. And if you ask any primatologists, they will tell you between monkeys and great apes and New World monkeys and Old World monkeys, yes, monkeys are evil. But there are no monkeys in space that we know of. Moving forward, D&D is a living game that grows and changes. We are expanding our pool of cultural consultants so that they have expertise needed to review the variety of material we publish. We will also continue to listen to each and every D&D fan who calls out our offensiveness, and then we will go and change it and charge you again for the brand new product. Where can you get this brand new product? Well, you can find it on D&D Beyond and in the new physical copies that we'll make available with brand new artwork to make up for the fact of all the money we saved by not actually printing anything. Oh, well, how do I get that errata? Well, you got to sign in for D&D Beyond, which is going to be a monthly fee of $30. Oh, okay. And then every time you make a mistake, you're going to reprint it with the new material. Yes, we are, which you'll have to pay for. But this will be backwards compatible with the older material. No, of course not, because you see, Billy, 1D&D was never intended to be backwards compatible. So I almost think like you did this on purpose just because you know somebody would be offended and you'd have to reprint it, and this is a way for you to make more money. Well, you see, Billy, it is actually far more cost effective for us to give a one-time fee of 20 grand to that woman and then never hire her again, because when you log on a week after we put the product out and say you were offended, even though we just paid blue-haired idiot 20 grand, we can say, it's not our fault. Scroll back up, scroll back up, scroll back up. The text was not reviewed by the cultural expert. It's her fault that she missed it. We're going to hire a whole bunch of new cultural consultants for 20 grand each. Well, wouldn't it just be cheaper to have an actual staff who is trained in this that you pay a monthly, weekly, monthly fee to? You see, Scotty, that would not be cost effective. We don't want people to actually think we know what we're doing. It is far more likely we're going to make more money off of these mistakes than we ever would have made had we actually just had somebody in place to begin with. But you said at Tasha's, I know we said at Tasha's that from every product is going to have a cultural consultant. And they did have a cultural consultant. It's just that the guy who conveniently no longer works here forgot to have the cultural consultant look at the product on that day. So if you're offended by something we released in 2014, we can blame the blue-haired girl who's no longer here, and we can blame the guy who's no longer here. Meanwhile, the blue-haired girl is making her money going, I was offended by the way I was treated by Wizards of the Coast and the fact that they did not take anything I had to say. But maybe I'm wrong, boys and girls. Maybe Wizards of the Coast has finally come out of the fog of idiocy. Maybe my dream, my conspiracy theory that somewhere there is a reality where Wizards of the Coast does actually make sense is actually bleeded over to our universe. And maybe they're actually going to try and change. Boys and girls? You think that's going to be it? You think that's what this means? You think that they've actually seen the error of their ways, and going forward, they're going to have these cultural consultants who are on staff consistently and present this material in a creative way where Wizards of the Coast, what few employees are left, go, you're right. We're not going to include that. Or are they going to just print it and go, oh no, she missed it. And the guy whose responsibility it was to make sure she caught it, he's gone. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to hire a whole bunch of new temporary employees. We're going to get rid of that guy and replace him with another Microsoft guy. And we're going to make sure that the next round of cultural consultants spot the mistakes. Except, of course, when that product hits the market, within a week of hitting the product, no matter what it is, somebody is going to find something offensive. As an overweight, balding, disabled, single LGBTQT, semi-retired Jew, I'm offended by the way you use that comma in that paragraph, because that comma insinuates that word was wrong, which means that you're insinuating that Jews are wrong. So I'm offended. Oh no, that guy was offended by the way we put that comma. We better reprint this book to make sure that offensive content isn't in it. Are you going to give me a free copy of the book because I was offended by it? I still have the receipt from the one I bought. No, Scotty. No, we're not. Because we're Wizards of the Coast. We're following Gygax's dream. We're leaving the golden path of human enlightenment that you will find in each and every one of our products that you're going to have to buy at least 5 times, both physically and digitally. But that's okay, Christopher Perkins, we apologized. Not Jeremy Crawford, Christopher Perkins. Remember 2 weeks ago when I predicted we would be hearing Jeremy Crawford's name less and less, and Christopher Perkins would be the new voice of Mouth of Sauron? Yep. It's true. Let's see if we have any comments, because people are actually watching me. I didn't think these people were actually watching this. I seriously doubt they're leveling up their game design. What do you mean, Cal? They are hiring these qualified individuals to fill a job that doesn't actually exist, to look through the content and go, I'm insulted by the portrayal of this fish because it looks vaguely Hispanic. Therefore, this is an insult to the Hispanics. Leveling up their gaming design. Of course, they're leveling up the gaming design. Mind you, most of, if not all these people will be under the age of 30. Not a single one of them will have a recognizable color for hair. I doubt any of them will be from the Midwest. Most of them will be from Seattle and Portland and Northern California. One of them is going to be named Moonbeam and check off everything on the divergence. Oh, I'm neurodivergence. I'm poly. I'm blah, blah, I'm blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so of course, well, I mean, this could all be replaced by actually hiring a cultural, somebody who actually has a degree in cultural anthropology. And, that person would probably go, I would love to do this. And I'll only charge you what are you charging these guys? Well, we're paying them 20 grand. 20 grand? Fuck, I'll do this job for 5. Take off all the shoes, throw them to sabotage everything. Yes, rise up, Luddites. Protest. Yes, give them attention. Make the book of weed. Weed grows fast. I know it's very good. I am a big fan of weed. I partake in medicinal CBD. But the trouble with making a book out of hemp is 9 out of 10 of the players are going to be trying to smoke the book. Dude, did you smoke the new Player's Handbook? Oh, dude, what a high. I don't know, man. That new Munster manual, that's that Humboldt green, man. Oh, no. They made them new adventures in the astral plane out of that Maui Wowie's breed, dude. I got so high off of some, yeah. And then people be offended because the game is made out of a drug. How dare you make D&D out of hemp? Are you giving money to drugs? Maybe they're just trying to create more union jobs that pay around minimum wage. Well, there is a story going around that all the game stores are trying to unionize in a way to rebel against what Wizards of the Coast and Diamond and are doing, and Arsenal. But I don't know. Is Seattle a union state? Probably is. I don't know. I doubt they would unionize because then, the workers would have rights. And then they would have to have a bottom line. Well, you're going to only make, this is what everybody gets paid because we want to be a union. And then they could go, well, I can't justify paying you 20 grand for this one-time job and then blame you when something goes wrong. So I'm only going to pay you what I would pay everybody else, which is standard union minimum wage. And then I'm still going to blame you for when the job goes wrong because, we couldn't be bothered to actually employ an actual cultural anthropologist. Oh, yeah, no, I doubt it. Humble opinion is Garaby's weed strain. You see, Scotty, I think you'd be much happier if you were partaking and maybe, I don't know, dealt with some of your deep-seated emotional issues and your closet homophobia / homosexuality. Yeah. 1, Seattle's not a state. 2, unions will only homogenize product. Oh, that's right. You sure Seattle's not a state? I think it's a state. I mean, I know it's in Washington, but I'm pretty sure it's a state of its own. At least they like to think theirs. They could unionize. I mean, Paizo did, and look how well it did for them. And somebody else did try to unionize, and that went really bad. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I think what we're going to see is what I've already said. More and more of the high-end Wizards of the Coast employees will be replaced by Microsoft employees, as Hasbro slowly wants to a state of disrepair. I will agree with that. It's sad when a liberal Democrat like me looks at the supposedly liberal Democratic states and goes, oh, God, geez, no, you've gone too far. Stop it. So, yeah, as I've already said, Wizards of the Coast is going to continue to be restructured. Wizards of the Coast employees are going to continue to be replaced by Microsoft employees. Permanent positions at Wizards of the Coast are going to be replaced with these need for hire jobs, like these cultural consultants. Your job is to culturally consult on whatever the next product is after Dragonlance. I think it's the book about giants. I think is the next one. I don't know. Your job is to culturally consult on this. So we're going to hire the 10 of you. And, you know, because we've hired to hire so many, we can't afford to pay you as much as had we would just hired one cultural consultant. So we're going to take that 20 grand and we're going to split it amongst all of you. So go through this paperwork, find out anything that might be offensive, let us know. And once we come to something that we can all agree upon, we will remove that. And then we'll do it again. And then we'll do it again. And then we'll do it again. And then we'll release the product, which will have no content in it, really. But it'll have a lot of great artwork. And then within a week, somebody will find something offensive, at which point we'll blame you and you'll be fired and never work at this industry again. But that's okay because we can find another group of cultural consultants for the next project who will work for cheaper. No, I don't think they're going to unionize it. Meanwhile, Hasbro's going to go, you know, this D&D thing has really turned into a disaster. Why don't we just give them enough rope to self-destruct? Then we are completely justified when we decide to go, yeah, no, I think we're going to shelve D&D for a while, the role-playing game. Try and focus more on the digital thing where we, Hasbro, actually have some control over what you maniacs are doing. And maybe, you know, I don't know, hire some work from Korea or China or people who actually know what they're doing. And yeah, if we do another role-playing game, we'll probably wait a couple years like we did after 4th and just focus on the stuff that's actually going to make us money and not get us in trouble. And then we can keep the name Wizards of the Coast around, but it won't really exist. I mean, let's face it, all we really need is magic anyways. D&D doesn't make a shit compared to what magic makes us. So yeah. And then this will happen again. And then they can blame these people and they can say, like they said, oh, that was the day that the cultural consultant wasn't paying attention. It's her fault. It's his fault. It's their fault. Don't worry. They don't work here anymore. Jeremy Crawford. Who's that? Oh yeah. Christopher Perkins. Yeah. We roll him out every now and then to make public statements like this, but then we'll roll them back. So yeah. I'm surprised I'm the first one to comment on this. I would have thought somebody else would have found it before me. I can't wait to hear what the dwindling pro 5e crowd has to say about this. And I can't wait to hear what the angry torch wielding 5e crowd has to say. And I can't wait to hear what the angry OSR has to say. And I'm sure our boy Scotty will have some opinion on this, and he'll post a video and then say, oh, the OGGM is stealing all my content. I said so on Bloodworths, so it must be true, even though, you know, I publish stuff and then you publish stuff after me and you've admitted that you farm my content. But yeah. Thanks guys for coming on. Thanks for listening to me for 33 minutes talk about this nonsense. I can't wait to see what happens next. I thought I would be talking about the Justin Lanasa nonsense, but I mean, Justin Lanasa violating a court order pales in comparison to Christopher Perkins coming out and go, "We so sorry we made this mistake. Please don't get angry at us. We won't do it again." You know what this is called in the old days? This was called whitewashing. This is when the studio system went, oh no, we did something offensive. We're just going to whitewash it, cut that out of the movie, change things so you're not as offended. Oh, you're still offended? Okay, well, we're going to whitewash that one too, change things, and then we'll put out a new one. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's all the money we made off of the movie you just saw that you're offended by. But don't worry, we'll take out Rose Tycho because she was offensive. And the woman who played Rose Tycho will receive death threats and so much negative press that she'll consider killing herself. But we're in the clear. Same with Wizards of the Coast. Oh, don't worry. We're going to whitewash out those racist monkeys. Thank you for the money. We're going to blame it on somebody else. That person will probably be persecuted and receive tons of hate mail and may even consider killing themselves. But we're in the clear. Wizards of the Coast, trust us, friends. Right, Billy? Right, OGGM? Right, Scotty? GGM. All right, thanks for sitting around and listening to me talk about this nonsense for 34 minutes. Jesus frickin' Christ. Get a life, OGGM. Till next time, I am the OGGM, your non-stop source for all the Wizards of the Coast ridiculousness, trying to add a little humor to this disaster. The more you dig the hole, Wizards of the Coast. At this point, we've gone past being mad at you, and now we're just like laughing. We're just like, dude, stop. No, seriously, stop. I mean, you're on the brink. You're looking over the cliff. The only thing that you're holding on to is a thread. Meanwhile, Hasbro's going, well, we don't care what you. I mean, they could jump. It's not going to affect our bottom line. And the 5e, the 5e maniacs, the Genie Ds and stuff like that are going, oh God, yes, 5e, and the rest of us are going, please, just please. It's gone past being angry at you. Now we're kind of worried, but you're just silly. So we're just going to mock you. And Hasbro's going, thanks for the money. What? Oh. Sorry, I couldn't pay attention to anything you just said, OGGM. Was counting all these millions of dollars we just made off of D&D and Magic. What? Oh, you're still here? Get the fuck out of here. See ya!